So this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a brief, I guess, explanation for the footage that I'm going to show you of the now that I'm showing you here, the footage from the Starcrackers fan film that we did in the 1990s. We've been over it many times. Our fan film, our first YouTube video, basically, was this bizarre thing that back then, you had to post things in chapters, and we posted it in 2012 and then 2014. I was on one of the on the original two channels, and Kal Kat channels, and Starcrackers was something we did in the 1990s, and that it took 13 years to finish it. We started in the 1990s and did about half of it, in a similar way to how the Star Trek Chimera movie ended up 10 years later, 15 years later, with that one. So Chimera was this, yeah. So Starcrackers was an attempt to do a Star Trek parody. We kept trying in the worst way to say that it wasn't Star Trek, but it was a Star Trek spoof. It was a spoof of the Wrath of Khan, basically. When you go back and watch the complete 2014 20th anniversary one, 20th anniversary of the 1994 release, of course, but with with the finished movie, finished as of 2011, the finished DVD release, and then yeah, on YouTube. When you watch that, it's a Wrath of Khan parody. It's a spoof. It's like, okay, what would happen if Kirk and Khan were buddies and they basically teamed together to get out of that trap that an alien species has set for them. An automated alien species set for them. And you might think, oh, that's like that Discovery episode with Saru and the lady on the planet. Well, they got it from us, of course. But yes, Star Trek's been cribbing from us since the 80s, because there were people in the know back then. Anyway, so yeah, it's been uncanny. There was even a scene where Colonel Clark pulls an apple out of his bag and begins tossing it up and down, and they put that on Next Generation within a week. We were in production on our film. The only way anybody would have seen that is if somebody else on the set knew some people and there were some people on the set. Maybe they did, but we were film school geeks, so it's like probably not likely. But it is really weird that they did that. And, Next Generation did it, and then J.J. Abrams so liked the apple tossing captain scene that he included in Star Trek 2009 as well, in the sort of Wrath of Khan spoofy Kobayashi Maru test type story, which this also is a Kobayashi Maru type, no one's scenario story, Starcrackers. This is not an attempt to do a sequel. It's not some kind of crowdfunding goofy thing that ain't gonna happen. It's not that. I just visited the sets of Starcrackers. That's all this is. So, what do they look like now? Well, you can't visit any of the Cantrell sets because it's long gone. Cantrell's still around, but the sets are long gone. You can't really visit the other two locations. Could visit the park, but you see the park. Yeah, and some of the Carta stuff that's mentioned, that was also in there. So yeah, this fan film that we did, that originally we filmed about half of it in the 90s, and then went back to it in 2005 and finished it, and then in 2011 went back and polished it. We wanted to bring back all the cast and have them do their lines, but they'd gone on to other things, and it was like years until we got some of them back. And we ended up not getting Tim back, and we ended up having Mark Scards have to imitate him to do some of those final lines. It didn't really sound like him, but yeah. But yes, it was very progressive for its time. Indeed, it had by necessity. We had we couldn't get any women to be in our movie. Not even my sister, who was the inspiration for Kimchi. Didn't want to be in that. So didn't want to be in it. She could be involved in putting a set together, but not in it. And so Kimchi, he had to play her. Yep. So yeah. Mark Skars also had to play his girlfriend, who was named Sarah in the story. Predating Sparkle of Sat Productions, wasn't even born yet, but later on when he was born yet. That name is that character was named after the character from Starcrackers, not just Zara from England, but rather Sarah from Starcrackers, named after, which is bizarre. She's now 27 and has a kid. She's married in Missouri. But she's named after the Starcrackers character, which is it's bizarre. But okay, that's what I think. Anyway, that's the Apocrypha. It's probably not true, but let's say it is. No, you were named after Sarah from Starcrackers. Finally seen it and gone like, oh yeah. She's kind of acting like her. Yeah, kind of do. It's weird. But yes, Mark Skars also played the dog Asloth, the half-dog genes guy, Asloth, unknowingly playing him like he had Asperger's and autism, which was, but unknowingly, we didn't realize that that's what we're doing. That was fine because I'm also autistic, so I was all okay with that. I was all that's fine if he's autistic. That's great. But it works. But yeah, so we were in production, did that, and we did other movies and fan films and things after that, and we did so you're gonna see the footage of the set now, and see that right now because I'm not gonna go into that other stuff until after that. So I'm gonna cut the tape and then go to the next half. So. This is Kal Kat, the Kal Kat, sir. And we're on the set of, they used to be the set of Starcrackers back in the 90s. Have a look back here. Check this out. You can be on the set. Cause they're not doing another one or anything. There's the cat. Here is the shuttle bay set. Now, here's what it looks like today. There's a shuttle right there. Here's the shuttle bay set. This is the original shuttle bay set, site of any the set of that weird goatee parody G.I. Joe music video, one of the things. Yeah, it's the shuttle bay set. The shuttle bay was in the not going to identify the actual place. Paths are all different. Now we're going to go to the planet Desiree. Here was the planet Desiree, and it looks kind of different now. Yeah, you've got that fort is long gone. It burned down in 2009. It's replaced by another fort. So there's the interior, exterior of the shuttlecraft fort as a shed, rebuilt as a shed. So yeah, and this is the stairs were built in 2001, and so there's the cat, and that's Houdini. That is the Purbeast from Chimera. That's a Purbeast, and he is huge now. He's 10. The other two are 16. So here we come to the. So the stairs weren't here. The stairs went the other way before. They went down by the window there, and this is where Asloth's bar was. This is like literally the spot where Asloth's bar and the band was playing here. The band guy, the Techite animal guy, he was playing here. And Tim was right there, and he was at the bar, and he was like serving drinks. Right there. And this spot right here where I'm standing, this is where I was gonna come up to the thing dressed as Kim Chi, the psychologist, and I was going to come up to the table and order the Tankian Fizz, which you put hair on your face, and then I puked it up, and Mark Skars, being a novice director, didn't want to have the puke scene in there, so he cut it out. So all you see is him about to spit up, and then it stops. So yes, he also filmed the floor, but I did other stuff. I ran over Tim's lines, and said to myself, I did stuff like that. So I didn't know what I was doing either. So there we go. Now, here's the door thing. There was another stairway. This is that also doubles as a trans-tech and trans-tech sets from the 80s. But the stairway was different. It went down the forward way, and there was a different deck or backyard. This is the same backyard that they filmed the Transformers thing, Trans and Trans 2. Yeah, that's the same. There's the back of it. Not going to identify where this is, of course. Yeah, let's go around. Yeah, star crackers. So yeah, so that's cool. The kitty sandbox. So here we have the recently set of Trans-tech, Trans 2, Carta. Carta was done in the park. We won't be going to the park. Let's see. Here we have the cat. Hi, kitty. Through the shuttle bay. This is where the G.I. Joe Sky Striker crashed in Trans. Over here. Yeah, so. And now we are in the set where the front door was used as the door of the bridge and all that. And the corridor was, of course, the hallway. Looks a little different, but it's pretty much the same. Where Asloth meets Commander Carey. No relation to the Carey that's going to move in downstairs. No relation. He was more named after Jim Carrey. A slightly different name and spelling. Yeah, so, yeah, the actor, yeah. That's what we were thinking. Yeah. We denied it, but then later, no, it totally was spelled that way. Not C-A-R-E-Y, it was C-A-R-R-Y. It's like Jim Carrey. So here we have the dining room / counselor's office, which was in an extended scene in 2005, and the 2011 uptakes. And then we come to the bridge. The bridge, where Asloth introduces himself by walking in and knocking over his own hat. Here, that was Clark's chair over there, facing this way, past the mantle. It's a weird location for the captain's chair, but that's where it was. And that other chair is kind of where it was. I think it was turned more this way, though. That. Captain's chair. So, command the crew. Yeah, so it's a living room. And, SAP 1 Productions has gone. They left on-location cats in existence. And one of the earlier Catico people, SAP 1 people, brought back the SAP. That doesn't stand for SAP Center in San Jose. It was Sparkle, Abra, and Pop Productions, and it was my sister Martha, who was the inspiration for Kimchi, the counselor, actually. But she brought back the table, the actual bridge console table, and here it is, the table, the actual table. She kept it for 30 years. There it is. That's amazing. So, and now we have a view screen. So you actually have a view screen. But it still is very much a living room and can't really be used as a star crackers anymore. But we have a view screen, and yeah, so we can talk to Raxler. We can't show you the basement set or the kitchen set from the other thing because that's the Cantrell's old house and it's long sold to someone else. We can show you the Deadly Hour set from On Location and the November Remember. There it is. Some of it is still the same. The counter is still the same. That's changed, but the counter is the same. You will never see the Deadly Hour posted on YouTube. We would get flagged for having fake barfing on it. But it is interesting that we did that in here. Fake barfing. But yes, here's the cat. But yeah, you've got a... That was there. Yeah, that's actually was there. That was totally there. So, just showing you around the Star Crackers set. I thought it'd be interesting to show this off. Or the other people who are no relation to Mr. Ketty. We're not doing another one. No, we're not doing that. I'm going to go up here. Oddly enough, the structure of the house had like, okay, wherever. There was an intercom here, and Clark called on the intercom. This quarters was seen briefly. This is now this is Studio 1 where Trans and Trans was done. Trans series. This is the revamped studio stuff. The audio equipment's not hooked up in here, but some of it is kind of. And yeah, there's not anything going on yet. Just to show that off. And yeah, it's got all your cast stuff put away. Here is the corner of the martial art gi from the ninja movie in the corner. Here we have some old stuff in here. This was the sick bay. This was sick bay. It was a half room, because it's a half room. It was sick bay. And we had that. And I believe that painting was on the wall in Clark's room or something. Which is funny, because now it's up in here. So it's a sick bay. Lancaster's, the doctor's sick bay. Yeah, so the bathroom, which was not an apartment. And then come in here, and we have the engine room, where it was the engine room and the engine quarters of the Starship. It's done up like the basement, but it's not the basement. So we have the engine room. We have that done up there. A studio lamp. This is Trans 2 studio. They for years and years. Beginning of the mush was actually in the other one. And then downstairs in the runabout room, which is no longer being used. And this is going to be a downstage for new Transformers and Star Trek fan films. And yeah, and it has a view screen. Yay, a view screen. Cool. So I have they didn't have dormers until 2001 when that stairs and dormers were added. Now we have dormers, and you can see out through the engine room. And we had Tim fly out of the closet so it could look like he was stuck in the warp core. And we didn't do that scene right at all. We had the camera, giant JVC camera mounted under him, and had him leap past the camera, and it did not look right. And we didn't think to put this camera stationary and just have him sort of slow-mo sort of fall out of the room. It probably would look better. But we didn't think of that. So yeah, this is the original OG table, which also remains from SAP Productions and the others, but it has been refinished. So yes, now you are watching this afterward going like, why did Brenda abruptly? Well, the ice cream truck went by. But there wasn't much to show you anymore anyway. The sets are completely different. It's all changed. Beds are moved around. Sets are moved around. There's dormers now and stairs. It's quite different. We know that Raxler really wanted to have a Raxler movie on a planet. And there was never a script. Oh, I never did that. Kept saying Kickstarter. It's like, no. We didn't have a script for a sequel. Didn't even do that. But we still could. But we're not saying we're going to. We still could. It would be entirely, on budget of whoever's. It would have to be done in such a way that no one was interrupting anything, set and doing other things. Kind of already took off in different directions with other stories and fan films and series as well. The Kal Kat, the Brown Productions, is the grandfather of Transformers fan films. There is not a YouTube person on the internet There is not. There may be one or two, maybe off in the distance somewhere, off in the deep, deep part of the internet, that has done Transformer fan films. You're literally putting them together with a giant clunky camera, the same one that did Starcrackers, from 1986 during the second season of Transformers. There isn't a single other one that's done that. Like, I'm the one that did that. So I want to film my Transformer toys and have my own fan film. And did the first fan films ever. Yeah, if we had panels at conventions, we'd go, yeah, we were the first fan films ever. We can't show you them. You'll have to go to YouTube for free and watch them because you pay to get into the convention. We don't want to have any copyright issues with. So no, go online and watch them. But yeah, for free. Don't come to the convention to watch them. We're not going to show them there because that would be a gray area. We don't want to do that. Don't have it. Or Starcrackers. Go on YouTube and watch Starcrackers. The Sphere of Influence. But yes, the Transformers fan films, and they've all been posted with commentary because I just did audio over the original audio because I had to. We put music in there because we didn't know Starcrackers was full of music. It's one of the reasons to redub pretty much a third of it because 2/3 of it because and once it was done because we put Batman music in the background and Jurassic Park music in the background. So what were we doing? We just figured, oh yeah, we can do that. Just like, but as Mark's Cards pointed out, if you put birthday music in the background, you'll also get flagged. And it's ridiculous because if it's a birthday, you're not really using that as copyrighted material, or a Disneyland ride on the ride itself. You're not really using the music to pirate. It's stupid. But they get obsessed with that. So anyway, so we have Starcraft. Went on and done other fan films during the we began production on Transtech in the 2000s, in the early 2001, roughly around September 11th, and then went on until 2006, and we made that series, the Transtech, and then that was a series. Then we went on to do Star Trek Chimera, started in 2006, right at the end of that, and we're eventually filming about 40 minutes of that in 2011, and then having to reshoot that as well. So, and then the 2/3 that we ended up filming by 2015 disappeared for several years and was later found because there was a hard drive. I always kept copies. Mother had a copy of it. Oh, we can finish our movie, yay. So in 2017, 2018, we were able to finish the movie, the Chimera movie, again another 13 years ago. The Transformers thing was quicker. We did that in 6 years. But that was slower. If we were going to do any more fan films after that, after the 2019 release of Chimera, we had to step up the game and make the whole fan film faster. We did. During the pandemic, we were able to do the Alt Transformers Mush 1 and 2, partly because the scripts were from Alt Transformers Mush archive that we'd saved from the old archive bulletin boards from Adam McCon and Kal Kat, the other characters from there that had compiled them for Transtech magazine and others, and for free, for completely free magazine. Transtech magazine never aired anywhere. They aired the copies of the magazine here in the studio in-house, and recently we threw all that stuff, the hard copies, away. So they're all gone, so you won't find them anywhere. The soft copies are still on disc somewhere. So we have all the electronic copies of it. Now all of the toys, they still exist. Some of the older ones don't. But we have most of the newer ones, the generations. So we saved an awful lot of toys. We can still do it. A lot of Star Trek toys too as well. And action figures. Some people would complain, oh, you painted your Star Trek guys, or you painted your Robotech fighters and stuff. We painted the ones that were junky, basically, to make them look better. So they were already junky. So those Veritex, they were junky. It was one of our most popular videos, was the Veritech. And that weird, that's a Shockwave video review that isn't much, but people like it. It's just purple, I guess. It just catches their eye. But yeah, there's so here we are on set. And during the pandemic, we were able to do that because they're all indoors anyway. And functionally retired at that point, so I can do whatever. Mark's Card still works, though. He still has a job. He can't be there on the set all the time. barely be on the set at all. Just a creative consultant on stuff. What are we going to do next? Just did a G.I. Joe with Robotech thing, so he wants to do kind of a G.I. Joe thing. Well, we'll see. It's something else, something different. Yeah. So it's probably not going to be a G.I. Joe thing just because I can't really think of any new. But the idea of doing just movies, it doesn't need to be an 8-part miniseries. There could be movies that take about 7 or 8 days. Now, no longer 7 or 8 years, 7 or 8 days. There's Kal Kat doing all the voices. And get them all done, put them in the can, film the movie, go. Put them together, even with this older version of Photoshop. So yeah. So we have to think of something and then film it. Now with all Transformers Mush and with lexicons, we had pre-existing scripts. There were storybooks and stories they had written. We were able to just use them. And the Sentinel story was also pre-existing scripts. So we kind of did that. The Chimera stuff wasn't pre-existing scripts. Starship Locations and Starship Strange Worlds and Destinations and all the other sequels were all stuff we had to write. With the exception of Planet of the Fallen Ones, which is the one that Star Trek Discovery was allowed to use because we took Planet of the Fallen Ones, the elements, from Jason Colavito's blog, and so did they. So they're all, we can use this. This isn't a Kal Kat story. We can just use this as the basis for some of the episodes in our rip off of The Chase that we did. They pretty much did. They also borrowed heavily from the Chimera movie 2019 in the finale, showing a Q continuum-like place Berm goes to. Now, and fairly on point that the progenitor lady who looked like Nichelle Nichols was meant to be played by Nichelle Nichols, but she passed away and they couldn't get her. I'm pretty sure that lady, they got a lady just like her to play this progenitor lady. That's what it was going to be. So that would have been cool. We already did that with ours. That action figure playing a voice that wasn't really hers. And Nog, a voice that wasn't really his because Nog was dead. The actor, Aaron Eisenberg, passed. Before, there was a tender scene where they hang out and Captain Nog is showing Uhura the ship. She's Admiral visiting the ship. Kind of like Star Trek Picard and McCoy. Mark's card thinks that scene is actually better than the scene where McCoy showed up. Which is actually better. It fits with the story and the narrative. That was the Tribble one. And you can't say that there wasn't always a no Star Trek connection whatsoever, because the Tribble one is actually another one that was based on something. A 50-minute script treatment by David Gerrold, the creator of The Trouble with Tribbles. Yes, there actually is a Star Trek guy that did one of our fan films, the Trouble with Tribbles sequel. We did his fan film with his permission from a convention, so we're going to adapt this one. and then years later, Mark's Cards and I went to a convention. He happened to be there. This is like right after the pandemic. He was at a convention, and he didn't want us to adapt his other one because he'd already done it. He mentioned Blood and Fire. He said, "Don't do that one. We already did that one." So that's okay. I don't want to tackle the Blood and Fire story. No, I'm not going to do that one. You already did it, so we don't need to do that one. That's okay. Good. Yeah. Well, action figures, that would look a little weird. Yeah, wouldn't work. But yes, your Tribble thing is interesting. In a good way, though. Like the part where Uhura and the Nog. That was neat. Oh yeah. Unlike some of the other relatives who think my stuff is like square or nerdy or dumb, the nerds like it. So yeah, so they're on to it. Now the character development is very good too. No, critique of the other stuff. But this was a Starcracker set analysis. I don't know why I'm going on about the other fan films, but that's what went on afterward. That's part of the reason that there isn't going to be another Starcrackers unless it was entirely a fish out of water story. Entirely featuring everybody except Carrie, just because the name is similar to Mr. Carrie, and it's coincidence. It's utterly a coincidence. The character from Starcrackers is not named after him. He wasn't around yet. No, the character from Starcrackers is named after the comedian Jim Carrey, who I guess we wanted to have in our movie. He acts like him in the story, so it's clearly, and it's of course Silly Kelly. But that's Silly Kelly playing that guy, of course. But yeah, there's a lot of trans tech people live in there, and you can see all the trans tech people live in our Blair Witch parody from 1999. All of my characters come out and they have a part, including Tom Brookston, the fake British guy, and Silly Kelly and everyone else. They're all there, and Morton Roadkill. They're all in it. Come Cowpoke. Cowpoke's, oh, I want to get eaten by the Velociraptor monster. Yeah. We get in the truck and it's going to eat me. Yeah. That was actually kind of creepy how I felt. So we have the KTS is back. Queen Bee Studios, which it was briefly called, is an homage, an honorific. It wasn't a Dodge. Oh, tax dodge in April. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was just that it wasn't a company. It's not really a studio. It's a guy in a house, basically. It's non-profit. There's no profit. We do fan films because we want to do fan films, not because we have to. There's no Kickstarters, nothing like that. There's no money doing it. And with the algorithm the way it is on YouTube, nobody's making any money. So just as well, but we do it because we like to do it. Also, it isn't a valid form of criticism on YouTube to say that a rant cast without content in the background is boring or dumb. It isn't. There's a lot of people that do a rant cast without a lot of content behind them. If they can't afford a team, a lawyer and some editors and some other stuff to pay for the content, you're not going to see any copyrighted content on the show because can't afford to do that. Those bigger channels that have Red Letter Media or Angry Joe or whatever, or Stone Gremlins or something, they can afford the content, so they can hire it on. Angry Joe Rants even gets flagged and copyrighted all the time. Has to do reviews of movies. He's got to play or games. He's got to play them backwards. Play the visual behind them backwards. Yeah, because he's getting flagged even there, even though he's got a team and an editor and a lawyer, and they're like, no, you got to turn it around. Assuming he has a team, So even though our channels have been around since 2007, and this one around since 2011, we've been around forever since the beginning of YouTube, and original content creator stuff are some of our earliest affiliates. Just to update things. We could certainly do live stuff somewhere in some places, and we will. We'll see what's the live stuff out there, but it won't be Starcrackers. It'll be something else, which is fine because Starcrackers kind of dated anyway. It was a spoof of it was a spoof of that other thing anyway. And although I did have the Raxler beard 2 years ago, but no. And my crappy driver's license now has this Raxler beard on it. It's like, oh gosh, why'd I do that? But yes, this Raxler beard. In the book series, in the non-canon books, he actually dies. Raxler is killed on a planet, and Clark mourns him. But yes, but only after he discovers that the commander of the Zuri race was actually a transsexual, and it freaks out the Zuri race because they were all trying to be all machismo and stuff. The Zuri colony, even though they're humans, they're just like hybrids. But the captain was a trans. He wasn't insulting the captain. He was just like, "Oh my gosh, he's a trans guy." He was saying it was cool that he was trans. The story. So that's very progressive as well. So he's progressive as well. The storybooks. If you want to read Starcrackers storybooks, they are online along with the Canary Space Saga. It's called Vanguards, Space Vanguards. Now, Starcrackers was changed to Space Vanguards when we published it because someone else took the name Starcrackers before it could get published. So they published online Amazon version called Space Vanguards, a USV, and the Kal Kat March cards, Space Vanguards USB, and Adam Brown might be in there too. That if you want to read the full series of where it was going after the pilot. Sphere of Influence is the first, I think, 100 pages of it, and then it goes on from there and tells the entire book series. It's all in there. It's considered canon, but because we can't film Space Vanguards either, I suppose you could do an action figure thing as Starcrackers, but adapting the other books, but I don't think that would be a good idea necessarily, because you kind of already did with Strange Worlds, the series with the characters of the Locarnos being kind of like Henderson and Sarah, the series. You kind of already did that, so you don't have to do that. So yeah, so you already did it, and they come to an end of their story arc too. And Chimera, they came to the end of their story arc. So. And not just because of Lower Decks, but because we knew where they were going, and that they would eventually leave the ship to go on a mysterious adventure thing. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens after that, or whatever we do next after that. Maybe it's written itself into a corner and it's new people being played by the same ones again. but yeah, let's see. Also we couldn't. We had about as much character development with Tam and Kestra characters in that series as they did in Starcrackers and in Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, with Gray and Adira. And they needed to do more with that, and they didn't. And we didn't really too much either, although we kind of redeemed them in the finale. Anyway, so yeah, they figure things out. They figure out that time travelers apparently. And you might think, oh, there's another example of the Kal Kat thinking that he thought of that Kovich Daniels thing at the end, and we were not aware that Star Trek Discovery did that twist until we saw the finale. Our stuff was out several weeks before that. I think it's a convergent story. I don't think. So no, it's not the same. It's not the same. Our character, our Kestra from the future, saying that she's a traveler, is basically doing the Wesley thing, the traveler. It's Next Generation. So go back and look that up. It's Picard season 2. Yeah, it makes sense because Wesley's a traveler now. It's a nod to Picard seasons 2 and 3, but mainly 3. Yeah, things worked out for them being from the future, and maybe they aren't in this other timeline. So, but yeah, the Chimera stories were able to take over for the fan film aspects, which is fine. What would have been Starcrackers is Silly Trek, Starship Locations. It's basically Starship Locations. So whatever we do now, I think it would be kind of fun to. Maybe you could do some of those Steve Shives-esque kind of like he does with the dresses up in a Starfleet uniform and does like a little sketch. I have some uniforms. I could put them on and do a little sketch as a Star Trek guy. It'd be kind of fun. But yeah, it wouldn't be good. Wouldn't do a movie out of that. It's a sketch. Yeah, if you have a guy show up as Riker or Locarno or something, or Wesley, it's a sketch. It's just a sketch. So, anyways, I'm going to end this. This is a little wordy, but I wanted to go on about all the other things that were going on. I thought, why not? This is sort of a look back. It's of the 2014 release, the 20th anniversary 2014 release / 20th anniversary. It's now 2024, so that's 10 years after that. So you do the math back to 94, 30th anniversary of Starcrackers. So think of something, but it would be Space Vanguards in order to be canon with that. What do we do? So you can think of something. Maybe you could do a Space Vanguards entirely new thing where it's connected to. I know there's a Vanguard fan film Star Trek series, so you'd have to not do that, because that would, yeah, can't do that. No, can't do with Vanguards, because that would be confused with San Jose and Vanguards and Starbase San Jose. And we're not them. They were homaged in Lower Decks, because they thought we were them. Homaged, no, that's cool, but that's somebody else. But I'll take the credit for being captain of the San Jose. Or as Mark's cards pointed out, make him the captain of the Milpitas would be funnier. But no, San Jose. Oh. The captain of the Starship San Jose. Kal class. That would make K.O. Dan captain of the Roseville. It would just be strange. And make Pop or Poe captain of the Nevada. And if they did a... no. Anyway, so that wouldn't work though. No. But yes, but yeah, nothing new yet. But we have new digs, new old digs. Refit the refit. Yeah, digs. And Brian's story has seen some of my ship models on the wall over there. Yeah, I put some of them back though, not some of them out. That's not a clue to anything, so we don't need to go back. Kind of the problem with these newer Star Treks, they keep trying to reinvent a origin story, a sequel, a prequel, or whatever. At least the Metalis Picard show, season 3, was like, let's actually go a little forward by like 7 months. Let's go a little forward. 2401 or so. And also, yeah, that guy over at On Location, Cat's Starship Locations, he was right. The star dates were screwed up, so we're going to calibrate it back so it's 2401 and the Picard season 3. Because, yeah, we did screw that up. Sorry about that. Now it'll be 2402 or 2403, somewhere around there. But yeah. But in the classic Trek, now it would be... Now all you do with the classic Trek to figure out what the date is you just add a 200 in there. So 24... So it'd be 22... It'd be... No, you add a 3. You add a 3, because it would be the 23rd century. It's the early 24th century in Kirk's time. It would now be 2324, around the time of Stardate 0. They started the Stardates over again, Next Generation. It'd be 2324 now, or in Next Generation terms, 2402, I think, roughly, somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around there. Which means that the last 3 Chimera series have actually been set. All of Chimera has been set after Picard, if you think about it. Just a little bit after Picard. A little bit after. Up to 2406. That was the last season. Because we jumped ahead 2 years after they were done with the Academy, so we have to be lieutenants. Because we weren't going to cover Starfleet Academy, because even we decided, no, we're not doing that. I did a live-action Starfleet Academy thing with Mark's Cards years ago. You'll never see it. It got lost, but it was pretty funny. There were elements of it on it. There were elements of the sequel that were on the Starcracker special edition tape thing. I think it's on the video as well. You can look at it, the YouTube thing. There's a Star Trek The Board. And it's basically, again, the Trans 2 characters from Trans 2. Morton Roadkill as a Borg. Silly Kelly as a Borg. It's got me as a Borg. It's got Cowpoke as a Borg. We get Borgified on the ship and we get turned into Borg. But the Borg are wearing clothing. Silly clothing. Because we couldn't afford to show Borg implants. So we just threw sheets and stuff on us. Mark Cards. Some of it shows up at the very end and lasers us. And yeah. Yeah, that didn't work so well. Best of Both Worlds was an inspiration for that one back in 1990. A little bit before Starcrackers, 1990. Yeah, that was a big deal. This Best of Both Worlds 1 and 2. They blow up Picard on the Borg ship. They don't do stuff like that anymore. It would have been something. But yeah, they don't take those risks anymore. They need to hire us. You know, yeah, my resume of fan film stuff speaks for itself. Hire us. They might say, okay, that Transformers 1 does seem like something Kal Kat would have written as well. More so than the Rise of the Beast. I probably would have written Rise of the Beast. Actually, I didn't, but yeah, it's more of my alley. The new one, it's hard to say. They keep showing that weird ads, which is a vibe like robots from Amanda Bynes from years ago. I don't know if I'm digging it yet. I got to see whether this actually doesn't, isn't just another cash grab thing. Whereas my stuff is not a cash grab because I can't make any money on it. So it's all